In this episode, we're continuing directly from the last one by looking at what helps anxiety begin to settle without relying on reassurance, and how people gradually learn to tolerate uncertainty without forcing calm. When reassurance has been the main way anxiety settles, the idea of not using it can feel uncomfortable. Not because reassurance is wrong, but because it has become too familiar. It's a known route to relief. Removing it suddenly can feel like being left without a map. What makes anxiety settle without reassurance isn't willpower or positive thinking, it's a different relationship with uncertainty. One of the first shifts people notice is a change in timing. Instead of responding immediately to anxious urges, there's a brief delay. That delay might only be seconds or minutes, but it matters. It allows the nervous system to begin settling on its own. You might notice this when you feel the urge to check something or ask for confirmation, and instead, you wait a moment. The anxiety doesn't disappear, but it doesn't always escalate either. Sometimes it rises and then it plateaus. Sometimes it fades slightly. That experience teaches the system something new. Another important factor is familiarity. When anxiety is repeatedly met without immediate reassurance, the body starts recognizing that activation isn't dangerous. The sensations are uncomfortable, but survivable. Over time, this recognition reduces urgency. This is why repetition matters more than insight. Knowing that anxiety will pass is different from experience it passing. Each time anxiety settles without reassurance, confidence grows quietly in the background. Another thing that helps is widening attention. Anxiety now is focused onto the source of concern. Gently engaging with a wider environment can reduce intensity, not as distraction, but as orientation. Feeling your feet on the floor, noticing sounds, allowing attention to move rather than lock. This isn't about calming down, it's about staying present while activated. People often find that anxiety settles more easily when it's allowed rather than managed. When there's less effort to get rid of it, the body completes its response more naturally. Effort can sometimes signal danger rather than safety. You might recognize this in moments where you stop fighting the feeling and it softens on its own. The shift isn't dramatic, it's a gradual easing. Another key piece is reducing internal commentary. When anxiety is active, thoughts often narrate the experience. What this means, how long it will last, whether it's getting worse, letting those thoughts pass without engaging fully can prevent escalation. This doesn't mean suppressing thought, it means not treating thought as instruction. People also notice that anxiety settles more easily when they're not monitoring it. Checking whether it's still there often keeps it there. Letting it be in the background allows it to move on more quickly. Early in the series, we talked about emotional confidence developing without being forced. This is one of the places that confidence shows up. Anxiety still appears, but it's less alarming. There's more trust that it will run its course. Importantly, this doesn't mean reassurance disappears entirely. It becomes optional rather than essential. People still seek reassurance at times, but they're no longer dependent on it to function. Over time, the system learns that uncertainty can be tolerated. That learning reduces the frequency and intensity of anxious episodes, not by eliminating triggers, but by changing the response to them. This process is gradual. There are days when anxiety feels easier to hold and days when it doesn't. That variability is part of learning, not a setback. What matters is that a new pathway becomes available. Anxiety no longer leads automatically to reassurance. There are other ways through. As this capacity develops, people often notice that their world feels slightly larger. There's more freedom to act even when unsure, more willingness to wait, more flexibly. In the next episode, we'll look at why uncertainty is such a powerful trigger for anxiety in the first place, and how people can start relating to not knowing in a way that feels less destabilizing over time.